Hey everyone, QAK here, aka Matt. This is just a video recapping my 2012 year. Not anything special to you guys, but it was special to me, and I mean, for those who are close to me, they'll understand. For those who are just watching randomly, yeah, you won't get it fully, but it's alright. Um, just want so 2012 started out pretty interestingly. Like, just getting over my cat's death from Thanksgiving. Yeah, animals died, but when your cat was like one of your best friends, it's kind of depressing. Also, same time I was working at Giant Eagle and CCAC full time, and it was kind of hectic. And then I also tried to start writing for GamersBliss.com, which was a lot of fun. Just haven't done it lately, but plan on hoping to go back soon. Uh, then February. February was when I met some of my like best Xbox gaming friends, like Michael and Mitch, and just even like reconnected with some of my old ones. Actually, I ended up like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have met all these different people like Sarah, or Dan, or Derek, or Dallas, or even like, list goes on and on, man. It was crazy. Even I don't know. It was crazy. Um, but February also was like, for me as a sports fan, Giants beating my Patriots was depressing. Yeah. But it was fun, just spending time with people. I also bought a new TV, which was cool. I had a crush on Cindy Han. That's pretty hilarious, actually. Um, I tried dyeing my hair, and as you can see now, I have red over here and blonde over here, which was green before. But that was the month I first tried dyeing my hair, and actually was successful somewhat. I was aiming for blue, and it ended up turning purple. Ended up celebrating my friend Ben Bahana's 21st birthday, actually, too, which is cool to be there with him for that. I know, money. Sorry. But also in February, I met some awesome people in school, like Christina and John, and just enjoyed taking psychology classes and English classes and everything. And it was just a lot of fun. March itself was very interesting because during December and January and February, Patrick had been dating. I had been dating a girl named Zoe. To be honest, I don't know if it was December, but I remember him starting at least in January. Zoe was the short girl. I remember he had been talking to me about how he had met her on Facebook, and they randomly went out on a date to ice skating rink, and was like, "Whoa, dude, this girl was like cooler than anything I know." And it was weird because March, for them, like, I mean, I get different sides of the story from each one of them, but she ended up breaking up with Patrick and then asked for him to take her back, and then we went through like multiple weeks of this. I think it was like 2 weeks of this that it just went back and forth where she'd break up and then they get back together and last a few days and then break up, which was rather a pain in the ass because I'd have to like console Patrick as much as I could, but he was also at Penn State, so he was kind of hard to console. And then also had an obsession with Murder Nurse, which is this online person who does burlesque bands, and she's pretty cool. From the few times I've talked to her, she lives out in, I think, Maryland or something. I don't remember. It's been a while. April of 2012 was cool. First night actually was Toonami. Actually surprised everybody with just they came back. They had original Toonami. They had Tom. It wasn't just regular shows. They had Dragon Ball Z. They had Mobile Suit Gundam, Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell. It was just a lot of fun. Sorry, playing with my head. And then even that later that day was WrestleMania 29. Like that. Sorry, 28. 29's this year. Where John Cena got his ass beat by The Rock, which nobody likes John Cena nowadays. He's just a whiny crybaby who does some shit. And then the next night, Brock Lesnar returned, and it was just for all those living wrestling fans who were like, yeah, fuck him up. And it was cool because Brock had come back and made WWE interesting again somewhat. Then May was cool. It was actually, it's not my favorite month, but the whole summer itself was actually a lot of fun for me. I mean, as I look around the room, a lot of my stuff in here now is from the summer. Because the reason why it was so awesome was Kennywood amusement park around here opened again, which is an awesome place to go if you just like having fun. Toonami officially came back. The only bad thing about May was, like, one of the people I was really close to ended up stabbing me in the back, and it kind of crushed my writing spirit because he went after me not as a person but as a writer, which was uncalled for. That's best. The right side. Sorry, playing with my face. But also, like, May was like the biggest change for me because I had been working all that year, and it was my first job and shit at Giant Eagle, and I ended up having to choose between finishing my semester where I needed off the Sunday, and they wouldn't give me it off, and they're like, no, you can't have this. So I ended up having to choose school over work, and ended up getting fired over it. And it was like, so I ended up appealing it, and they're like, oh, you can have your job back. And I basically told them, I'm not going to take it back. You treated me like shit. You can go, yeah. But ended up doing pretty decent. June was cool because I ended up going to see Lady Antebellum, and I'm not a big country fan, but it was interesting because I got to spend it with Patrick, and just the night before I had met Zoe. Zoe was an interesting character. Girl ends up making out with me, then a week later was just like, oh, I like your friend instead. But best thing I can say about Zoe is she gave me the courage. Like, I had been nervous for a while after Dana, and had ended up giving me the courage to actually go back to wanting to be my normal self, of just being a flirt, being happy, just talking to everyone, and talking to the girls in general, or females. And it was just, it made things a lot better. My grandfather turned 80. Oh, wow. Good for him. Surviving multiple heart attacks and still living to be 80. Kennywood, just in general, I actually met some of my close friends at the mall that month too, Kayla and Leo, and they ended up, like, Kayla was just a lot of experience just talking to girls in a friendly manner, and Leo was the one who's like, go out there, go get your confidence up, be cool, be calm, be collected, but just have fun. Don't be so scared that you're gonna say the wrong thing. It's like, hey, you piss off one person in the world, what's it gonna matter? It's like, oh yeah, maybe they talk to somebody else, you know, and then word travels down the vine, but it's like, stop being so worried about what others are gonna think of you. And then the Pirates game with Mitch, which the Pirates destroyed. I think they beat the Padres or something, like 9-1 at least. So it was whatever. And I also dyed my hair blue. It was cool because it was not. It was like a really bright blue, and the first time I had tried to dye it, it turned purple. The second time was just a butcher. Um, July, July was my second most favorite month. August being the first. July was so awesome because I actually met my second like official girlfriend. Like I've had girls that I was dating or just fooling around with or goofing around with or flirting with or talking with, but never actually considered girlfriend. And ended up meeting Sam. Sam, short girl, brown hair. I ended up meeting her at the mall. It was like I was there with these three other girls and Patrick, and I was trying to impress this other girl, and then she had just got on my nerves to the point where I was like, shut the fuck up. We ended up ditching her, and I ended up seeing Sam all during the day, and I was like, hell, if I see her again, I'll go talk to her. And this was after the fifth time I had said that, and we ended up seeing her a sixth time when I was running away from Kayla and Rachel because they were annoying as hell. And I just went up to her and her two friends, Ty and Jordan, and just started talking to them. And we ended up talking about Avatar and then Iron Maiden, and it was just a lot of fun. And I ended up hiding in the turtle. And I just remember her wearing this black Nazi zombie shirt with blue jeans on. And she ended up taking the picture of me in that turtle tent. And we just ended up like now I'm stuttering because I was just smiling about that. She ended up sending me the picture, and that's how I got her number. And I'm like, hey, thanks for the picture. Is it alright if I text you? And she's like, yeah, you seem cool. I actually got a really good vibe from you. And we ended up talking, and we had a lot of fun. And she was just like, I like you, but I have a boyfriend. And I was like, that's cool. I'm fine with people having boyfriends. I'm fine with being friends. And then she's like, and a few days kept going. I think it was like 2 or 3 at most, where she just kept telling me about her crush on me, kept growing and growing. So we ended up hanging out and ended up fooling around in the rain behind like the dollar store or something, which was cool and all. But this, I felt bad because she was still officially dating Mike. She was on a break with him though. And then the next day, while she was still on her break with Mike, we ended up going to see Dark Knight Rises, and things led to more things. And so she technically cheated on him, and that made me feel bad. But she ended up breaking up with him a few days later. I think it was actually that next day, but it still was bad. Now that I think about it, then we ended up going to Kennywood, where just like, because I wanted to hang out with them, and thought it would be awesome just to like chill with her, because this was at the point where she was really cool when I was considering dating her, but I wanted to still feel the water out, and just had an overall great day with her, except for she was fun. But her friend Karina ended up puking, and Karina was supposed to be Patrick's date, and Karina ended up pissing off Patrick because she threw up. But Sam helped me get over my fear of heights somewhat, and I ended up riding the Sky Coaster, which is this giant swing, and they like just drop you, and it was like, shit! And then a few days later, ended up having my first official date with Sam at Laser Storm, where with Karina and Clay, and Clay was a nervous wreck. Clay's a nice guy. He doesn't value himself enough yet, and we'll have to work on that in 2013. But he kept demeaning himself, and I'm like, Clay, dude, don't worry. It's not like she was expecting anything, and you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But he ended he ended up having a bad time, and I feel bad, but me and Sam had a good time. August now, officially best month of my life, I felt. I met both the girls I dated, and I not met both, but I ended up continuing the bond I had with one girl that I dated for the August, and ended up meeting the girl I dated next. Me and Sam started going out August 4th, which was cool. I know, which was cool, yeah. And then she and I ended up working together and starting Killer K and Friends and Sam's Guide to Surviving the Zombie Apocalypse, where we ended up like trying to compete against each other in a playful manner to see who could get more likes, and it was rather fun because I would just tease her about it and she gets so angry, but it was kind of cute. And we also used to stay up and play Yu-Gi-Oh! On Dueling Network and Skype Duel. It was a lot of fun. Also went to Trespass tour with Sam and Mitch and Devin and Chelsea, and we ended up meeting Tim and Zoe Miles there. And Chelsea and Tim are now dating, and I think, hey, if I hadn't gone to that, Chelsea and Tim probably would have not started talking, because I was the one who started talking to Zoe Miles and everything, which was cool. And I ended up getting Sam the crowd surf, and I tried to crowd surf, but the person wouldn't pick me up. And Mitch got to see his favorite band, Killswitch Engage, so that was all good. I also then that month also was important because because it was Patrick's birthday. Patrick being one of my best friends, we ended up going to PNC Park like we do every year and watching the Pirates. And I think Styx played, which was cool, but sorry, I like playing with my hair. Besides the point. I ended up going to Laserstorm that month more and ended up becoming a member again. Zeo Icebreaker, yeah, I know that's impertinent, but it was all because of this girl I met randomly through Poke Wars on Facebook. It's like, holy shit, you fucking meet a girl over Poke Wars? Wow. But it was, I ended up meeting Joy over that, and we ended up going to see Expendables 2, in which we ended up hanging out afterwards, and then watching The Raven with Spiker, and that was a fun time. And then the next week ended up hanging out with her again, and we were with my friend Travis, and he ended up stealing her headphones, and I felt guilty and everything, which was bad. And then Julia became more of a part of my life while I had Sam as well. And Sam would get a bit jealous over the fact that Julia was around so much, and would actually not cause problems, but she'd complain and get upset and be like, you don't love me and all this, which was annoying. But Julia was around and was actually living with me for a while that month. Actually, she ended up living with me for a while, yeah, after, but September, turned 22. Doesn't feel much different. Got Borderlands 2 for birthday, which was cool. I ended up going back to school that semester, which I just finished recently, actually. Got a 3.75. Yeah. But only bad thing about that month was that Sam broke up with me, and it ended up hurting a lot. But luckily, I had Julia around, and I even had Dez and Elena, and Malik, and Ben, and Alex. All these people were here for me, even though, like, whether I've known them for a while or I knew them for a long time, they were actually there. Like, a lot of people say that, like, people aren't there to help people and that our society's fucked up. And I want to argue that if you're willing to actually open up to people, people will open up back to you. And when you need them the most, they'll help you. And Dez and Elena and Malik and Ben helped me with that a lot. October was a fun month. It was a fun month because Halloween and everything, so I was just goofing around playing laser tag, Uh, and only bad thing was I ended up dating Julia after being friends with benefits with her for multiple weeks, and yeah, like it lasted less than a week because the girl was way too controlling, and it would actually get annoying how controlling she was, and would be pestering, and she'd be manipulative, and so we ended up breaking up at her cousin's Halloween party. But then she and I like tried to be friends again, and we decided to go to my friend Clay's Halloween party, which I'm like, hey, can't be much worse. I think we'll survive this. Ended up getting worse, and now she and I are on a no-talk-to basis, which is fine with me because it feels actually a lot better. The only thing I miss is having a warm body in the bed to lay next to. Reminded me about September. September is where I lost my second cat, which was rather depressing actually, because I had lost both cats within the same year, pretty much, like within a year's time, and these cats meant a whole bunch to me, and it just depressed me. But Thanksgiving was relatively good, and I kept going to school, kept doing well, other than the whole depression thing and the whole suicide try. It was pretty good, and actually I feel stronger from it. And then Christmas, or December, we're in December now, and I mean, it's almost the end of the year. It's literally a day from New Year's Eve, and I gotta say, no matter like what you get for Christmas, if you're not truly happy with it, like if you wanted something more like on a deeper emotional or mental level, like how for me I always wanted a girlfriend for Christmas, and that still hasn't happened. So when Christmas occurred, it was kind of sad, but luckily I got to spend the day with my friends, my family, and had a good time. So during this year, I've met so many amazing people, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And even whether it was through Xbox, through Facebook, through Twitter, through just school, or just through general meeting, it was a great time. And all I have to say for everyone out there, like, I know you don't know me, but just go out there, open yourself up, don't be a shy butterfly, just have fun and socialize, don't be shut-ins. Final part is what do I want to do for 2013. For 2013, I want to graduate CCAC, try to have another 3.0 or even higher GPA for this upcoming semester. I want to transfer to either Penn State, Maine, potentially Syracuse. That one's kind of Pitt, just a general four-year college, and just take everything I had with me so that I can better myself and further my education and just get a better job. And to have a longer lasting relationship, like one that's not so argumentative or detrimental or fighting over petty things. I just want to be happy, have that person be happy, and just go on with my year and have a great year. So, for everyone out there, have a good new year. And whatever you decide to do with it, just make sure you're happy with it. You don't have to do major things. You don't even have to like go outside that much. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters. And curious what all your guys' New Year's plans are. So if you'd like, just tell me down below.